Carhartt versus Dickies is just like Ford versus Chevy or the Yankees versus the Red Sox, and maybe it's not so much a rivalry, but each one definitely has their loyal, dedicated fan base and people who have come to rely on them to get work done. And the thing that I buy the most, by far, is work pants. They wear out the quickest, and that's actually what led me to start doing these videos in the first place, was looking for the ultimate work pant. That's why I began doing these kind of comparisons. Now, when I'm gonna do some real hard work, something like taking down a tree or cutting some rigid conduit or something like that, something that's gonna be dirty, abrasive, just nasty, there's really nothing that I found that beats a good pair of double front pants. That extra layer of material in the front really does make a huge difference. And basically, if you think about it, that is the highest wear area on your pants. So if you have 2 layers of fabric, you're basically doubling the life of those pants. And the good thing is that almost every company has these. You can find them pretty much anywhere. But of course, the 2 titans of the industry are Dickies and Carhartt. And at the outset, if you look at them, it kind of looks like you're getting the same type of pant. They're both brown duck canvas, 100% cotton, with, sort of a chap style double front. They both look similar. But just like with the jacket comparison, there's a bit of a price difference there, about $14. So what are you getting for your $14? Well, that's what I want to answer today. I want to compare these two and really get down to the nitty-gritty, the ins and outs. I measured every single pocket on these things, wore them both in the field. Everything that these pants have to offer, I have put in this video so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Let's begin with Carhartt. They're using their legendary 12-ounce firm duck canvas, which, as the name suggests, is pretty damn firm. Dickies, on the other hand, opted for an 11.5-ounce brushed duck, which actually feels kind of pre-broken in. It's much softer. Stress points on both are helped out by rivets, 16 total on the Carhartts and 10 on the Dickies. Now, both actually use a rounded top rivet, which won't mar surfaces like the typical denim rivets will. While it looks like both brands use a YKK zipper, the Carhartt's is a heavier gauge and it feels a lot more substantial. The pocket layout is similar on both, with 2 front pockets, 2 back pockets, and a double-tiered side utility pocket, although they are both kind of shaped a little bit differently. The Dickies pockets all around are larger. Carhartt has an additional utility pocket on the other side and an oversized coin pocket, however. The pocket style is different between them, with the Dickies back pockets being squared off, yet their front pocket bags being rounded at the bottom. Carhartt, on the other hand, reversed this and used a rounded bottom back pocket and a squared front pocket bag. Carhartt's pocket bags also feel thicker and more heavy duty. Something that wasn't apparent until I put these pants side by side is the lack of a yoke at the top of the Carhartts. This is what designers use to shape the pants and the overall rise, but the benefit of either design is kind of up for debate. The one thing I did notice though is that it's actually a little bit easier to clip a tape measure to your pocket with the Carhartts because there is no extra seam at the top, but that's just my experience. In all my years on the job, I have never once seen anybody use a hammer loop for its intended purpose. I've seen guys clip a radio to it and all kinds of other things, but people who carry a hammer, they tend to do so on their tool belt. That being said, both pants do have a hammer loop, but the Carhartt's is riveted. Both of these pants use a chap style cut for their double fronts, but each one took a slightly different approach when it comes to the shape. Dickies went with a taller and narrower pattern, while Carhartt went with a wider yet shorter pattern that tapers down below the knee. Which one is better will really depend on your work and your own preferences. At the base of those double fronts, Carhartt features an opening for cleanout or knee pads, where Dickies is sewn shut. There are 2 bar tacks on each side though, which leads me to believe that you could cut the thread if needed. The Carhartts are made in the USA and the Dickies are made in Mexico, and I have to say that overall the craftsmanship and the cleanliness of the Carhartt is much better. All of the stitching and the seams are clean with no stray ends or fraying, and this is a function of quality control really, more than the country of origin, but it's definitely noticeable when comparing the two side by side. Finally, one of the most important factors is cost. The Dickies come in at $36 with the Carhartts being a little bit more expensive at $50. So to summarize, the Dickies are cheaper, have bigger pockets, are softer, and maybe a great option for somebody entering the workforce or as an occasional yard work pant for a homeowner who isn't used to stiff duck fabric. But the Carhartts give you a thicker yet stiffer fabric, more rivets and pockets, a heavier zipper, and better build quality only for $14 more. All right, so I just spent a little bit of time working in both of these pants. Up here, this is my house, just doing a little bit of renovation. So the things, and I think that is really important because a lot of times you don't know how something works. You can read the specs all day long, but in practice, it's something completely different. So I wanted to give both of these pants a fair shake. And at the outset, it really looks like the Carhartt is more robust, whereas the Dickies is a little less, heavy duty. And I gotta say that honestly, that is the way these two feel. But in practice, the Carhartt, it is thicker, but it feels thicker. It really feels like armor. And that is also kind of hand in hand with the fit itself. They're a little bit higher rise. They fit a little bit tighter, even though they're the same size, they definitely fit a little bit tighter. And they feel like armor, which can be a good thing, especially if you're doing something where you're really causing a lot of damage, potential damage to your pants, a lot of abrasion and that kind of thing. Again, like tree work, perfect example. Working in a place like this, a residential application, they definitely feel like overkill. You really feel like you are prepared for war in these things. Whereas the Dickies felt much more comfortable because, let's face it, it's a different fabric. They are a lighter duty construction. That's to be expected. But in a situation like this, working indoors, whether you're doing sheetrock or finished carpentry or any number of things where you could be working inside of a semi-finished building, I think that the Dickies actually, they are more comfortable. And if I had to work all day in one of these today, doing what I'm doing up here, I would actually choose the Dickies. But if I had to make a purchase for the long term and I was only gonna buy one of these, I would buy the Carhartt and let it break in. A couple of the other things I noticed, as I mentioned, I really like being able to clip my tape measure onto my Carhartts. That stiffer fabric helps that a lot. I also like the positioning of the leg pockets, the side pockets on the Carhartt better. On the Dickies, they're closer down to your knee, and when you walk, they're gonna just bang into the side of your knee, and I've gone through a day like that, and it sucks. So the Carhartts are a little bit higher up on the thigh. I think overall, the Carhartt is a better designed, better product. But if you're looking for comfort overall, or your job really just doesn't require that much, but you still want one of these, the Dickies is more comfortable. Now, of course, everybody's gonna have different requirements when it comes to their job, so which one of these is right will really depend on that. For example, a farmer is gonna need something much different than a diesel mechanic, so what you do for work is really gonna dictate which one of these is better for you. Do you like the softer fabric of the Dickies and not have to deal with the break-in period of the firm duck? Or do you appreciate the fact that the firm duck tends to really, it just shrugs off any kind of abrasion or cuts, anything like that? These things, they seem like they're basically iron. I kind of prefer that side of it. I think that the Carhartt overall is a better, more well thought out pant. But there's really no problem with the Dickies, and like I mentioned, if you're somebody who occasionally wears something like this, it might be a better option because you're not used to the stiff and rigid feeling of really heavy-duty work pants. These will be a much better entry-level option. Or if you're somebody who is on a limited budget and you have to buy a couple of pairs of pants which are going to last you a long time, well, the Dickies, when you buy several of them, that adds up. So maybe that's a better option for you, but that's a question, again, that only you can answer. Of course, I want to know what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Which one would you choose? Or neither of these? Is there another company that you would rather use compared to these? I mean, let me know. I'm very interested to hear. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time.